Hi friends, this is Carissa Karowski and you are watching A Glow in the Dark. Thanks for joining me. Today I am doing my part three of my three-part series on barriers to mental health. The third barrier to mental health, and what I think is probably the most difficult one, is you. You are your own worst enemy. And I know that's a cliche, and I don't really like cliches, but it's so true in so many situations that I just have to say it. You are probably the person that might be holding you back from healing more than anybody else. Because the shitty, horrible, awful thing about dealing with a mental health issue is that nobody can really fix it for you. Unfortunately, you are the only person that can help yourself. Now, that's not to say that therapy and medications and all of these great external things aren't helpful. They totally are, and they're totally necessary. But when it's at the end of the day and you're laying in your bed staring at the ceiling, feeling numb and hopeless and maybe even suicidal, and there's nobody else around, it's just you. It's just you and your brain. And you can learn how to get out of those situations, or you can give in to them. We're really focused on fixing things from the outside, not just with mental health, but with everything. So we've got this huge drug issue. And, we've always had issues with people using drugs in our country, but we're seeing higher and higher rates of overdose. We still see high rates of suicide. Everybody needs so much help right now. Mental health issues are skyrocketing. IEPs are being requested like crazy in the schools. And if you don't know what that is, it's kind of a new term for being in special ed. Basically, it just means you have an educational plan. It doesn't mean that you have a disability necessarily. There's a lot of different, we're not even going to go into it. There's many reasons a person has an IEP, but my point is that they're being requested like crazy because everybody wants this special attention and special help. And we spend all this money trying to fix problems from the outside. We have coalitions to fix homelessness and to support single moms and all of these things. And it's great, right? It's so beautiful that we want to help other people and that we want to devote our time, money, and resources to helping people that need it. The crappy thing is that it's not always working. And there are situations where these things we're doing are helpful. And I'm not saying by any means, this is not like a political video saying we need to stop that stuff. All I'm saying is that no matter how much therapy you attend, no matter how many medications you're on, if you don't do any work from the inside, nothing's going to change. And I don't know how much therapists may or may not agree with that. I have met several who have told me that if their clients have been attending therapy for 10 years, they're probably not very invested and they're probably not actively looking to help themselves. In fact, one therapist that I worked with in my past, like on a professional level, would have 5 or 6 sessions initially and then reevaluate at the end of it to decide, is that client really invested? Do they really want to make a change and improve things for themselves? Or is this just kind of something they've been forced into, or parents are making them go, whatever. So the point of all of this is that the external help, the external support resources, it's great. It's wonderful. And me changing my nutrition and changing some of the things that I did in my life on an external way were tremendous benefit. But I would not be where I am today if I didn't do any work on the inside. And I would not have been able to implement those external things if I didn't spend the years and years and years that I spent working on healing myself internally. And so I said at the beginning of the video, that's just the shittiest part of mental health, is that you have to work on those things internally. And that's because it's hard. It's so freaking hard. And a lot of times it hurts. Like, it physically hurts to look at yourself and try and evaluate what you can do or what you need help with. It's hard and it hurts. But I really believe that it's one of the few ways we can move forward and start that process into healing or recovery. So that shittiest part of mental health, having to fix it from the inside, is also one of the really cool things about it, because it means that you have the power to do that. You have inside of you this potential and power to help yourself. It's not always easy to figure it out. It's not always easy to get there, but it is. It's there. And it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of dedication. And sometimes it does take that external support, but ultimately you have all of that stuff inside of you ready to help you, and you can find it. I truly, truly believe you can find it. It took me way too long to find mine. I wish it would have been a lot shorter, but eventually working on things internally and changing my thoughts, beliefs, brain, eventually it got me where I am today. And just a final note of encouragement before we wrap up. Please always remember, you are literally changing your brain. Okay? That's why it's so freaking hard. It's because you've created the neural pathway you've created. It's like you've been walking the same path to work or school every day. You know, you've been walking this path. For me, let's use my example. 15 years, I walked this same path to school, to work. So it's really worn down. It's easy to follow. You just automatically go there. And then one day you decide, I'm not going to take that path. I'm going to look over through this scary ass forest where there's a bunch of trees and maybe some animals and a bunch of scary stuff that I don't even know what's in there. And you take that first step. Well, not all of us are going to be able to just trudge right through there and blaze a trail, right? A lot of us are going to take a couple steps and then, oh, there's a bear over there. Let's take the old worn path. So that's what you're literally doing in your brain. And that's why it's so difficult. It's because you're trying to deviate from this well-worn path into a new one. And it just takes time to get there. That's why I've created several videos about habits, and I'll probably continue to create more, because it's so difficult to get that message to yourself and to give it to others, that it takes time and effort to forge a different path, to create new brain patterns, to forge new neural pathways. So just remember that if you're trying to deviate from your well-worn path, it's okay that you don't get to school the first day through your new route. It may take 15 years. As always, I hope that was helpful. Please, if you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel, like the video if you thought it was beneficial, and please reach out to me with any comments, questions, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.